Back in 1998, a dark, violent, and stylish vampire movie changed everything. That film, of course, was Blade. It proved that Marvel characters can work on the big screen, and if it was done correctly, even without the bright costumes and traditional superhero formula. But 4 years later, the Daywalker had returned, bigger, bold, and bolder, with a new creative face behind the camera and a new sequel that's set for the Blade universe. What's up, everybody? My name is Nate, and on this 20th episode of the Road to Avengers Doomsday, we're taking the look at Blade 2, the sequel that expanded the world of vampires, introduced terrifying new enemies, and became one of the most bold entries in the trilogy. So sit back, relax, enjoy the show as I take you to this night alley of Blade 2. Following the massive success of Blade, Marvel and New Line Cinema quickly realized they have something special and have a huge franchise on their hands. The first film had proven that darker characters could succeed with audiences. It blended action, horror, and martial arts into something completely unique for the superhero genre. Necessarily, a sequel was inevitable, but this time the studio just wanted to rise the stakes up high. So they decided to bring down a director known for his incredible visuals, style, and love of monsters, and it's the one, the only, Guillermo del Toro. When Guillermo del Toro stepped in to direct Blade 2, he brought a very different energy to the franchise itself. At the time, Dortello was famous for his love of creature design, gothic storytelling, and blending horror to motion. And that influence is everywhere in this entire movie. Instead of simply repeating the same formula of the first film, the director expanded the vampire mythology and introduced a brand new threat, something even the vampires themselves can't even control. And I find that concept really amazing. That creative decision gave the sequel its own identity. Of course, the heart of the franchise remained the same. Wesley Snipes returned as Blade, the half-vampire warrior known as the Daywalker. Once again, Snipes brings incredible physicality and intensity to the role. Blade doesn't talk much, but when he enters a room, everyone knows exactly who he is, like that guy you do not want to mess with in the dark alley. Snipes trained extensively in martial arts, which helped make the fight scenes feel fast, brutal, and believable. Even years later, his performance still stands out as the coolest portrayals of a comic book character put on screen. The story of Blade 2 begins with Blade continuing his war against the vampires. Along with his mentor and weapons expert, Whistler, Blade hunts the undead across the world. But something new is happening. A mutant strain of vampires known as the Reapers has appeared. These creatures are stronger, faster, and far more dangerous than the ordinary vampires he has fought. Unlike the others, the Reapers don't just feed. They infect. Each victim they bite becomes one of them, which means if they aren't stopped, they can wipe out both humanity and the vampire race itself. And that's pretty bad, in my opinion, when I found this script really shocking. Because the Reapers threaten everyone, the vampire leadership does something pretty unthinkable. They ask Blade for help. Blade reluctantly agrees to work with the specialized vampire strike team known as the Blood Pack. The Blood Pack includes elite vampire warriors trained specifically to fight Blade. Only now they must work alongside him. Naturally, this alliance is tense from the start. Blade doesn't trust him. They hate him. But the Reapers are too dangerous to ignore. And one of the biggest highlights of Blade 2 is the terrifying design for the Reapers. Thanks to Guillermo del Toro's, these creatures look extremely horrifying. Like I could tell this guy went so deep when he was whenever he does horror stuff. And I could really tell he went all that out for Pan's Labyrinth many years later. And it just looks something out of Resident Evil, which is pretty shocking in my opinion. And these monsters feel less like vampires, more like horrifying disease spreading through the world. The creature design helped give the film a much stronger horror identity than the first one, and I do like that a lot. Beyond the monsters in Blade 2, they also increased the stake of the action. The fights are faster, the battles are bigger, and the visuals are much more stylized. The film also expands the hidden world of vampires, showing their politics, their how they are in life, and also their secret operations. It made the Blade universe far larger than one superhero fighting monsters in the shadows. When Blade 2 was released in 2002, it was widely praised by some critics and fans. It showed Marvel movies can evolve very fast and creatively, long before the MCU was even laid out. And most importantly, it proved that superhero stories it showed how this movie can bend from action, horror, and fantasy all in one movie. And I like that a lot. And that experimentation would influence many comic book movies that came after that. Blade 2 took the foundation of the first film and pushed it up to the next level. Bigger monsters, bigger battles, and the deeper world that would be hidden beneath the surface. It's another important step on the road to Avengers Doomsday. A reminder that long before the Avengers assembled, Marvel's cinematic journey was already full of risks, reinventions, and unforgettable characters. And I like that a lot. But anywho, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure you guys leave a like, subscribe, and join me in the comment sections as we continue exploring each chapter leading to Avengers Doomsday. Because every legend has a beginning, and sometimes it starts with a vampire hunter in a leather coat. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.